Okay, so the planets have aligned, and Sarah and I have come together on our journey and have decided to collaborate to um, inspire and impact others and have some real conversations about entrepreneurship and women who decided to change their lives. So we're going to talk about the ugly truth. We want to help awaken, empower leaders to discover their truth and feel aligned and fulfilled in their life and business. Our first concept that we want to talk about is pain plus passion equals purpose. That goes with one of our pillars we lined up for ourselves in the area of personal development and growth, finding your core identity and intention. Um, we want to speak to and help women that are working women and mothers who decided to create their own reality, shift into entrepreneurship and small business ownership after years of toxicity in the workplace and physically and mentally challenging and exhausting careers. So we both made a decision to change our lives. We want to have fun and put humor and fun first, explore real conversations, add value, impact, inspire, and support our audience. So we're looking to speak to people who are paving the way to have a more joyful, positive life and business with three concepts. And we want to give you some three actionable tips and items on what we're doing and how we can help you through sharing our stories. So, Sarah, give me just a little brief intro of your journey here, and I'll give you a brief intro of my journey as well, so we can share with our audience who we are a little bit.
Sure. So I'm Sarah Piedrahita, and for the longest, I really just was an employee and thought I was doing all the things that was going to make me successful. And I, with a lot of people, had believed that the American dream was for me and that there would be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And so, of course, I went to college, racked up student loan debt because everybody has it, right? And really bought into the mindset of you have to do these things to be successful. And so in my journey of getting my degree in something that I found out towards the end of the program, I don't really actually want to do this, to, working different jobs to climb the ladder, I started to realize, I thought life was over at 32. And I thought, man, oh my gosh, like I'm doing all these things. It's not matching what I had in mind. That pot of gold at the end of the rainbow was actually a pot full of student loan debt, a job I couldn't stand, being a zombie mom. I wasn't the mom that Pinterest promised would be like, here, do all these things when your child turns 2 and 3 and all these other things. And so I found myself in a place where I was depleted. And, as time went on, it worked out to where I was able to shift from being an employee into the entrepreneurship space. And on a personal level, I have also, been through a situation where I was married once to a narcissist, and I found out the hard way that I lost my identity in the process. I built my life around what others said I should do, what others believed was best for me. And it's almost like being put on this responsibility of fitting into their shoes. So, I've broken free and I have a passion for setting others free as well. That each one of us has been designed with a specific purpose, that we don't fit into our purpose. Our purpose is specifically designed for us. And so, this is a chance for each of us to, no matter what age, no matter what program you followed, this is the time to break free that, through life's adversity, the adversity is a gift in some ugly packaging, but it's for your good.
I love the way you put things, and I'm excited to explore this conversation more with you. So yes, I love your story. We met not too long ago, and that's what brought us together is just learning Sarah's story originally that inspired me to be able to share my story more in the future, and we can, look at a way to impact and inspire other people together. So that's what actually kind of brought us together. So I come from an 18-year healthcare career in physical therapy. I'm an outpatient physical therapist assistant. Love helping people. But 3 years ago, almost to the day, I decided to find something new as well. Life didn't look how we expected either as two full-time working parents with, at the time, a 2 and 3 year old. My children are now 6 and 7. So decided to explore a bunch of different avenues of how I could start to impact and influence more people in another way with my natural skills. So fell upon this journey just before the pandemic, and it's been a wonderful journey to where we are today. So basically, this first concept, the pain into purpose part, it really just goes hand in hand with what I do to offer and help business owners as well, is help people not be stressed out and worried and anxious about the unexpected or everyday life issues. So I've been through a lot of different health issues since I was 16 years old. I've managed my own finances and wealth since I was 16. Been through a lot of different crazy things in my life, but it really just goes back to that, and I actually discovered that more recently in a coaching program that I was in about really my passion and purpose behind what I do. So, yeah, it's really been a fun journey, and um, yeah, I'm really excited to be here today and dive more into it. So our first kind of concept or idea has to do with you might be ready to put your pain and passion into a new purpose if you. Sarah has described it as driving recklessly. So, do you want to kind of introduce more the track we're going with? What kind of signs and things might be happening in your world about when it's time when we decided to make that shift?
Absolutely. So, a lot of us, we think of like driving, right? When you drive, it's recommended make sure you have plenty of sleep. Don't drive when you're tired. If you are tired and you can't, afford not to drive, get some caffeine. You got to do something to be alert, to be able to pay attention to the road and navigate challenges in traffic. And so, what I find is, some of us, we go through life we go depleted mode. And so we drive recklessly. And here's what that means, right? Just like the concept of driving tired in a car. What if you're driving your whole life tired all the time, right? You've got kids, you've got responsibilities, you've got bills, you've got all the things going on. And you continue to pour from this place where it's like you have an empty cup and you show up in a way that's depleted. Well, you can end up being really reckless with maybe your mouth, maybe being reactive and not responding. There's a big difference between those two. And so, my question to you is, how reckless are you driving in your own life, right? Like, this is one of those where it's amazing that we could be loyal to companies, for you, those of you out there that are still working for somebody. You're showing up in a way that is depleted. You are giving your best. You would even put off going on vacation for these people. You might even come into work sick. But when it comes to your family, what side are they getting from you? Are they getting what's left over? Are you finding yourself, say your kid, they accidentally spill Cheerios on the floor? How do you handle that? Are you saying like, "Ah, I tell you every time, oh my gosh, how many times do I need to tell you?" Is that sound kind of like how you respond? Or are you more of like, you know what? It's just Cheerios. It's okay. The floor is not going to disintegrate because you knocked Cheerios on the floor. So the deal is that, any one of us could be replaceable in business, but our family, we are not replaceable. Matter of fact, family is usually the ones that will rally around when we're going through personal difficulties. It's very rare to have somebody in business partner with you, step in if you're having financial difficulties and say, you know what, I will sacrifice for you. What would you say about that, Jen?
Yeah, so it's really just like taking a cold hard look, and I have to say that, I am in a definitely a work in progress here. So, but back then it was taking a cold hard look at really what lights you up, what makes you brings you joy in your life. One of the first things I learned in this journey was to take a look at clarity of self. Showing up each day to the best of my ability with being joyful, focused, and present. That was something along this beginning of this journey I had to learn. So, you're putting yourself last, your physical and mental well-being are declining. When do you decide, to take a cold hard look at what you are doing and really look at what your innate qualities are and what you love doing? So having a growth mindset and drive and focus was something new to me. Going into a networking and, entrepreneurship type role, I learned that I love speaking. I love telling stories. I love hearing stories. These are all things I love: learning, teaching, sharing, writing. I had to really explore in this new journey, what I love to do and what really brings me joy. I love helping people all day as a therapist, a physical therapist assistant. But I'm really more passionate about the aftercare. How am I really helping people manage their everyday life? So I recently looked harder into what really drives me in my business and my life, that I want to impact people in a bigger way. I want to help people not be stressed out and overwhelmed in their life like I've been dealing with, whether that be, family life or business or my still again, corporate career. But I did the same thing too, as you said. I went to college. I had a very low cost education. I did a lot of things right, and I bought my first house when I was 23. I was with my husband for 10 years before we got married and had children. So all of that kind of comes behind, what my decision was to do all of this as well. And just this journey, where the shift came from and whatnot. So like just having that passion for helping people and learning to really discover, within me what um drives me and what I really love most. So we want to be able to give kind of a tip or a action item on what to do. Think about all of these questions. What can you learn from these challenges? What are you grateful for? How can I make a positive out of these negative things? What do I really want to be doing? Have an honest conversation with yourself. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of if we after we really go for what we want to go for? So if you want to kind of add to that, and we can give everyone a tip or a action item here of a step to take in that direction of stepping towards what we want.
Absolutely. So, one of the biggest challenges is people tend to be committed to staying on a dead end road where it's clearly marked dead end, but they will stay because of familiarity. They will stay because at least they can predict the kind of dysfunction that they have to deal with. The unknown seems scarier. However, staying in that, where living out of alignment with who you actually are, it brings about feelings of dissatisfaction. And then we start to look outward into, okay, let's look for the answers outside of us, or maybe avoid really asking ourselves, what is it that you really want? And when we look to outside of ourselves to fulfill us, we're putting the responsibility of our happiness on other people. The truth is, happiness is actually an inside job, and it's our own responsibility to make ourselves happy. And so here's the deal: take some time today, 15 minutes minimum. Sit down with you and write out, what is it that I really want? Money aside, resources aside, put all that stuff. It doesn't matter. What's mattering in this moment? What do you really want? And begin to unfold what's in there, because it's like an onion sometimes, right? Especially for us moms. And I was guilty of this too at one time of, I'm so used to serving everybody else. If someone asked me this question, I'd be, dumbfounded, like, huh. And then the mindset might show up, the limitations of, well, I don't know, the money or this, that, and the third of, well, I just can't see, and knock all that stuff off. Because here's the deal: when you're living out of alignment with who you are and living by what other people have taught you, told you, you should live your life this way, it's like walking around in their shoes. Okay, if you wear a size 7, but your mom say she wears a size 9, how is it the right fit for you to do what she's saying, but you have to live like this? Your dad, maybe he wears a size 11. How comfortable is that going to be wearing shoes that are 4 sizes too big for you? And so if you are experiencing dissatisfaction, you're in a great place, because that means you are ripe for change. And change is actually a really great thing. So, sit down with you today, 15 minutes minimum, write out, what is it that I really want? And then the second question I would challenge you to write out is, what am I afraid would happen if I start to make any change at all? And you may find that 99% of what we think will happen, it's what we think. And it's 1% is actually what is the reality of what will happen. What would you recommend, Jen?
I think just changing one little thing in your day, like you said, just taking 15 minutes to yourself. You could be doing, your intention, a gratitude list, journal. We all know these things, but otherwise in your day, pick one thing that can help you, whether that be related to one action you can take in your business, one action you could take to improve your health or your diet. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to have a shake, whatever it may be. Change one thing at a time. We know how hard it is to change habits. So pick one thing, small thing that you could do. Is there something in your business you need to automate? Is there something in your business you need to delegate? And getting comfortable with getting uncomfortable. That has come up a couple times today. Like you said, stepping out of your comfort zone and making a decision. Like I said, one of my favorite things too is you can decide to change any day you want. Whatever day it is you decide to change. Jim Rohn said something along those lines, but make that decision to change one small thing that could make a really big impact in your life, your day, your routines, like you said, responding versus reacting as well. And all of these things together, I think, gratitude, journaling, intention, and what are it kind of goes back actually to the idea of a pro con list. What happens actually as I'm thinking about this, I talked about this yesterday. What happens if you don't change? List 5 reasons why this situation should change or you want it to be different. What happens if you don't change as well? 5 reasons why what the negative impact could be if you don't change. And that gives a lot more clarity on taking the steps into a new journey or um, just changing habits, like you said. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about um, the concept of really just being the best version of yourself and a little bit more about, your story and one other tip that we can give about other things that you love in your day as well, and a little bit more about how we can't change the past. We can only be present and take steps in our future to change our future nonetheless. So, would you want to give one more little concept or tip today on some other next steps?
Absolutely. So, next step would be figuring out what is it that you value. Simon Sinek, he said that if you want to get to the bottom of what is your purpose, what is it that you want to do with your life and the limited time that you have, start with your purpose because it's hard to get excited about something you don't believe in. But it's so easy to, if there's something that you absolutely believe in, man, you would go without food for it. You would go without sleep to do this very thing. And a lot of times, our why is another way to call it, is something outside of ourselves. It has nothing to do with us. So, for instance, I have my why is to empower women to break free, to find their voice, and to live life on their terms. I would sacrifice in a heartbeat for that because nobody deserves to suffer in silence. Nobody deserves to live a life that is not in alignment with who they are. You matter because you're here, and you're here because you matter.
And I'd like to go back to our pain and our passion and putting it into purpose to kind of tie it all together. So, like you said, digging deeper on your why, discovering these new passions that we decided to, you just left your career 1 year ago. I've been on this journey for 3 years in my business, but just really putting that all together in, taking our pain, adding it to a passion that we have, figuring out, who we serve and putting it to purpose to make a bigger impact. So um, I just really think that, people out there, hopefully these tips are helpful in us inspiring you a little bit to take a step in the right direction, to break free, as Sarah says, and to really just inspire and influence you to live your life in fulfillment and alignment, and figure out what works best for you and your family, and how you can then impact more people with what we serve people with.
Excellent.
So we will be sharing these topics over our social media profiles on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, And we appreciate you connecting with us. If there's any way that we could help each other and be open to having conversations, Sarah and I are happy to connect with others, and we just want to impact, inspire, and influence people. Anything else to add to that, Sarah?
No, that's it. It's time to live in alignment and be inspired.
We hope this all has been helpful to you all. Thank you so much for your time.